Good morning, everyone. It is morning because it's 2 minutes before noon, so it is still morning. So this morning I'm going to continue on with my beginner series, Beginner Zentangle Learn With Me series. It's a learn with me because even though I've played around with Zentangles before, um, it's been a couple years since I've tried them, and so I am now relearning and going over what I knew before and maybe learn some new tangles to do in my Zentangle art book here. And so this is only my second video in the series, and I actually learned how to make a uh, playlist, so they'll all be in the same playlist as I go along. I guess you're never too old to learn new tricks, so 70 years of age is just what it is. Okay, so yesterday was the first one, which we did this one, which was called the Knight's Bridge. Okay, so I did my Zentangle here, and I'm doing one portion each day. So yesterday was the Knight's Bridge. We did that one. Okay, so today we're going to, oh, you know what I also decided? I'm going to put a piece, I'm going to just get a piece of paper to put behind, just a second, where's that pad of paper? Where is that pad of paper? Elizabeth, the one that is always a day late and a dollar short. Move my camera. I keep hitting my camera. I'm just going to take a piece of this paper and I'm going to put that behind it just to be sure, because it does go through the page a little bit. I don't want it to go through the next page. So I'm just going to put a piece of paper behind there for a blotter. Now here, today, I'm going to do the Cubine. The Cubine starts off the same as Knight's Bridge did. So I'm going to start that one here. I use a Sharpie, fine line marker of any kind will work. I like to use the Sharpie. I mean, you can use anything. You can use a pencil, a pen, or see how my last one, it kind of come through a little bit here. So that's why now I'm putting the page extra sheet of paper as a blotter behind, just in case your paper leaks through. All right, now, so what we're going to do, it starts out the same as what the Knight's Bridge did, which we're going to make just a square. And what I do is I put 4 dots, and then I connect those 4 dots. Try to stay in frame here. And let me go here. And I don't want to make my lines straight. I want my lines to be kind of curvy. Sort of like my body, kind of curvy. So then I have my my box. Now I will go here like they show in the first image. It looks here, when you look at it, it kind of looks hard, like it would be kind of a hard thing to do if you were just to look at this one. But when you look at it step by step, it's not hard, but it is amazing because it looks like you're looking down into the boxes. And so that is kind of neat. That's called a Cubine. And so I'm going to go ahead and make my box into sort of like a checkerboard. And my lines are not straight. they're good enough. Okay, so I'm going to go like a checkerboard. So I went that direction. Now I'll go this way. So it kind of leaves um your lines kind of make like a series of squares. And so we'll do that way. All right. So there we've got this part done. I could have went a little smaller, I guess, with my little boxes, but I mean a little bigger, but that's what I did. So that's what's going to be. Now what I'm going to do is here on the second image, they show how on each one of the squares now, we're going to add a little, like, see how they've put in each one of the individual squares, they've put almost where you make another little square in the bottom right corner, in the bottom right corner of each square. So we're going to do that. We're going to go in the bottom right corner. I'm going to go through and put those squares in. Okay, you don't have to color them in as you're going. You can do just the squares. Now see, when I'm doing this, it's only a partial square, but I'm still getting it into what would be the bottom corner. So I'm just going to go through and do all the bottom corners before I color them. And I say learn with me because I am in the learning process myself. So that's why it's a learn with me. It's not a teach, it's a learn with me. And I can see I'm getting some of these a little bit off kilter. Some of them I will have to enlarge them as I'm coloring them. Some of them are way off. And I'm thinking in here that the people that wrote the book that I'm using, or the books that I'm using, they're experts at it. That's why they wrote the book. I'm not an expert, but I'm learning how to do them, and that's fun. So I'm just getting these squares put in the bottom right hand corner. Did I say left before? Okay, I might have. Okay, so that's where I have my squares. And now, let's see, this one's not big enough. I want that one a little bigger. So now I'm going to color them in, but I'm going to use my broad tipped or the regular Sharpie to color them in, because that goes a little bit faster. And so I'm coloring each one of those bottom right squares in with my black marker, the bottom right hand corner squares. I have a fly in here. Why do I always have some kind of an insect wanting to come and visit me? I had a little spider jumping on the desk the other day. I think yesterday I had a gnat. Just Florida is for bugs. Today is kind of a real wet day, kind of a weepy day, but for me I just love rain. I just love rain. I love sunshine too. I just love it all. But we're getting the outer bands of the tropical storm that is out, or whatever they're calling it now, out in the Gulf. We're getting like the outer bands of it. It's going, I think it's still moving north. I haven't checked. Um, but we're getting just the outer bands of it. So it's nice porch sitting weather. It's fun to watch the birds. The birds love the rain. and it's fun to watch them. So that's what me and Papa was doing while we were drinking our coffee. So I'm getting these bottom corners. Zentangle is such a is such it's doodling. You're just doodling. And so it's very calming. You don't do it for any reason but to just do your form of art, what you want to call, it's an art form. Any kind of doodling is an art form, but doodling is something that just does not have rules. You just do whatever you want to do, and and just making marks on a page. Okay, see some of these up here are like a little, make them just a little bit larger here. Yeah, see that? I like them. Okay, and now that I got all those bottom corners in, now what happens, see, so now it's just like this. Now what I have is like this, although this one, my squares are not as symmetrical as these other ones. So now what we do to make it look like you just dropped those black squares down into a box is now you're just going to take your fine line and you're going to go from the top. Okay, my squares aren't good at all. But from the top left corner of that little black square you colored in, from the top left corner, go a line, just put it up to the top left corner of the original box. So we're just going to go up. Oh, mine are all crooked. Crooked, crooked, crooked. See, so now what I'm doing is just, now if I had I should have just started with a perfectly square box. Maybe it would have been better. But I'm going from the top corner of the box I colored in to the top left corner, and then I'm just drawing a line from the top left corner of this box I just colored in to the top left corner of that checkerboard square one. And you do that on each one. And do you see how once you put that line in there, once you put that line in that box, it makes it look like, now see here, I don't have room on this particular one, but I will get this next one. It looks like that square that you colored in, it looks like it just dropped to the bottom. And it looks like it's like an optical illusion. See, now it looks like every one of those boxes, you can look down into it, like you can look down into it. See, mine is not as perfect as this one, but you can make them to look perfect. I mean, if you started with a real square, maybe I should have done that for this right here. But as you can see, it does look like you can just look right down into those boxes. So this one's called a Cubine. And this one, see, it's got the little star up there, and it's because that the writer of this book is the one that come up with that very one there. So that's a Cubine. And so now I'm going to go onto my page here and get my blotter. Nothing came through to the blotter, but I'm going to put it there anyway. And I think I'm going to use the Cubine right here on this on this piece here, and I think I'm going to go with my lines this way. And so, see if I can get them a little bit more equal, maybe, and see what happens with that. So and see what I did? I just scribbled, kind of, and just made a bunch of spaces on there. And so now I'm drawing my checkerboard. Each day I'm going to do a separate tangle for each one of my sections. So here I'm getting my squares in. So I'm doing doing my first step, which is the squares. And then see, once you start getting to a different shape, then you see where you have to kind of adjust your line just so that you're still coming up with squares about the same size, but don't have to be exactly. Okay, so now I'm going to put my bottom square. See, actually what you're doing is you're coloring in about 1/4 of the square when you draw this one. I'm going to go ahead and color in as I make my little squares. Okay, and now if you're doing something like this, my kids bought me this here speaker. They bought me that speaker. It's a Wi-Fi speaker that I can put music on my phone, and just Wi-Fi it over to that speaker, and oh my gosh, it's got such beautiful sound. And what I have been listening to lately is the oldies on Pandora, and I just love them old songs because it kind of sends me back to high school days, and then all these memories that come flooding back when you hear these songs, and it's amazing, because it was fun. I mean, there's things goes on when you're a teenager, that maybe you don't want to remember, but it's fun to remember that you have not always. It's fun for me to remember that I have not always been 70 years old. I have been young, and I was in high school, and I did have a lot of energy, more than I have right now. So if you put on some music while you are also doing your doodles, it's amazing how calming. I mean, unless you put in rap music, maybe that's not calming, but maybe that's what you like though. So um, I have listened to rap style music. In fact, one day I was listening to it while I was cleaning. And so, because I went to find music that was very active. So, because I wanted to be active, I didn't want to be calm while I was mopping the floor. I wanted to get my floors mopped. And so, I found music. I just kind of scrolled around, found music, and it just was this rap music, but it had such a beat to it. My son come in that day and he said, "Mother, what are you listening to?" And I said, "Music? I'm listening to music. Music while I'm up." He says, "Do you hear what they're saying?" I said, "Well, no, not really. I'm just kind of going with the beat of the music." And so then I did listen because he told me to. I listened to the, but I don't usually always listen to words. Well, after I listened, then I was saying, oh, are they saying what I think they're saying? And my hearing isn't the best either anymore that I'm 70. And so I don't listen to the words. I was hearing the beat of the music and it was giving me energy. And not even listening to the words. But then I have heard that there are some rappers that actually put up, I mean, there's even gospel rappers, people who rap music, they rap music to gospel music. And so, and now some people might think that is, oh, what is that, sacrilegious or something? But I don't know that it would be. Um, and for even me to listening to the rap music that apparently had some colorful words in it, I didn't hear them. And I didn't hear those words. I was not listening to the music for the words. I was listening to the music for energy. And, but now when I do something like this, right now I don't need music because I'm talking to myself. Well, actually, I'm talking to you. And, but if you're doing this and you're listening to music, you listen to elevator music, you listen to the oldies, you listen to whatever you want to listen to, orchestra. Oh my gosh. And then the Hubster has got a set of CDs that are nothing but nature sounds. Like there's waves in one of them, there's birds in one, they're just sounds of nature, and oh, are they beautiful. And so something like that, you can put on and listen and just calm yourself. Now see what I'm doing here by doing this um Zentangle. It's like I'm just doing the same thing over and over on this one particular block or piece section. And I am having a good time. I'm not dancing, I'm not doing any. Now I can't sit here and do this for a very, very long time because when I get done with this, I'm going to probably go get dressed. I don't know why I bother getting dressed. My nightgowns are comfortable. But I probably will go have some lunch is probably what I'll do. But maybe go sit back out on the porch for a while. I do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I can't do a lot at one time before I have to move and go do something else because I have a short, what do they call that? Short attention span. So I think that is why I have so many different types of projects going all the time. Lately, I've been doing a lot of working on with the sewing machine, and but I might not do that for a long while. I may do that maybe for a couple months. When I started making masks, I got back into sewing. And so because I wanted to do something for the cause. And so making masks is what I was doing. And so then my little pocket prayer quilts, I caught wind of those. And I said, oh, I want to do them because when I see something, I just want to do it. So I want to try it too. And so I see a video and somebody's doing something different and I want to try that myself. Beth Schuler, who is um, new to me, I'm not sure how long she's been doing videos. She's new to me though. I like, she's got she does live streams and they are quite lengthy, but she always does like 4 or 5 different things in her videos. And so I like to watch her videos, but the thing is, then I see something she's doing, I say, "Oh, I gotta do that." She does something else, I go, "Oh, I gotta do that too." And she's the one that actually got me back into pulling out my Zentangle books, and kind of refresh and start doing them again. And so, and that's where I am with that. That's when I said, well, I'm going to start a series because I want to continue to do this. I want to learn some more tangles. And I can go up on YouTube and on Pinterest, and I can find even more tangles. And so, but I'm going with these ones that I have right now. Okay, now I got all the bottom corners. And so now all I have to do is draw my lines up from the top left corner of that black square to the top left corner of my original square, of the each square that I just made. And it's funny because you can look at them, and it's like that bottom square just drops. It's like it just drops into the bottom of the box. And I just think this is an awesome one here. And they call this one a Cubine. And I'm using the names that I got out of the book. I have 2 books that I've been looking in so far. I've got more books, but I've got books all over the house, and not everything always ends up in the bookshelf where it's supposed to be. So I'll find my other books, but I'm going to also find some more um, some more tangles by just um, looking, like I said, online, like on Pinterest and YouTube and such, because I know there's jillions of them out there. And try not to buy books. I'm a book hog. I don't know why. My husband and I both, we just love books. And he's much of a reader. He reads a lot. So and he used to buy a lot of books because, especially like Stephen King, he's got like so many Stephen King books. But then he started reading them on his tablet. But then every once in a while, like right now, he's reading a Stephen King series over that he's read before, but he's using the books because sometimes he just wants to feel a book in his hands. And so, but he can just get so many more books by having them on his tablet. Okay, so there is my section that I did with the Cubine. So that's the one we did today. And I love the way that looks. It looks like it looks like you're looking down into a grid, and it just pulls your eyes. It's almost like an optical illusion, like you can reach down into that box. And I think that's great. So here we have what did we call that? The Knightsbridge, and this is the Cubine. So those are the 2 that we have so far. And tomorrow I'm going to find, see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more sections of this particular Zentangle that I'm doing. And so tomorrow I'm going to have another one. I'll do another one. And so I hope you join me again tomorrow for the Beginner's Zentangle Learn With Me series. And this will be, now, so let me see, this one will be 1. And I did figure out how to make the playlist. So they'll all be in the playlist. So this is number 1. And this is number 2. So I'll keep track in my book of the Zentangles, the tangles that we've went over. And again, I thank Beth Schuler for the inspiration, because for one thing, I'm just so glad that I found her, because she is so calming and so friendly and so easy to listen to. You know, there's some like easy listening music and whatever. She's easy listening, and I love listening to her. And so, and I think her, Beth Schuler, Schuler, Beth Schuler, and go check her out. She's got, I think she streams on Tuesday and Thursday evenings and maybe Sunday as well. Um, and I think she's on Eastern Standard Time about 6:30. I'm not sure. I know she lives in Florida, but I'm not sure what part of Florida. So people in the Panhandle are on Central Time. So it might be 5:30. I'm not sure. So you would have to check. But Beth Schuler, and I really give her the credit for sending me back in time so I could do this. And I hope you all enjoy this. Now let me read you just a little bit of you know what, even on her one of her things I was watching, she was talking about the drawing the Egyptian hieroglyphics, and I thought, I got a book. And so and I started looking at the drawings for the Egyptian hieroglyphics, and there is some awesome stuff in here. So I don't know what they mean, but I'm looking at the at the images that are in here, and they are awesome. Look at that lion. And so I put this out here. It says how to read and write them. So I guess I need to read this book. And so I would know then how to read and write them or draw them, because I just think it's awesome. And so let's see, what will I read from today? I always do a little reading, and I think today I'm going to read from Someone Cares, the collected poems of Helen Steiner Rice. Thank you, Nancy Morales, for this book. And the power of meditation. So let me get me, I always have to have like a little bookmark. So we may know God better and feel his quiet power, let us daily keep in silence a meditation hour. For to understand God's greatness and to use his gifts each day, the soul must learn to meet him in a meditative way. For our fathers tells his for our Father tells his children that if they would know his will, they must seek him in the silence when all calm is still. For nature's greatest forces are found in quiet things, like softly falling snowflakes drifting down on angels' wings, or petals dropping soundlessly from a lovely full-blown rose. So God comes closest to us when our souls are in repose. So let us plan with prayerful care to always allocate a certain portion of each day to he still meditate. For when everything is quiet and we're lost in meditation, our soul is then preparing for a deeper dedication that will make it wholly possible to quietly endure the violent world around us. For in God we are secure. This is a very good one for these days, the violent world around us. And that's what we're having to live through right now. And that's when we need to go into meditation. We need to do something that calms us, which one thing is reading. One thing, and this is another thing, is that you list calming music, listening to some calming tunes, some calming music, doodling, any kind of doodling. You don't have to do the Zentangles. You can just take a page and draw hearts all over the page, circles all over the page, whatever, dots, just put anything, and meditate, just think. And like I said earlier, I was listening to some of the oldies and thinking back to when I was in high school, because I was there at one time. I mean, I was in high school and I was one of those teenagers that were just starting to experience the world. And uh, the world around us back then in the 60s is definitely different the world around us now in the 2020s. But anyhow, I will get off of my soapbox. But thank you for watching. Thank you for coming along. And again, tomorrow I'm going to do another one of my sections, and we're going to just see what we come up with. So come back for the next in the series of the Beginner's Zentangle Learn With Me series. And God bless you all.